As you know, Prince Harry and his greedy wife Meghan moved to California in 2020. But until now, Prince Harry's immigration documents are still unclear. This intrigues people not only in the UK but also in the United States. So what caused Harry to reveal his identity and reveal his immigration documents? Please watch this video. I will analyze it for you to understand. And this is the Royal News 365 channel. The Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank based in Washington, D.C., filed the Freedom of Information Act case against the Department of Homeland Security after Harry admitted to previously using drugs, which they argue should have disqualified him from entry into the U.S. So a judge has ordered President Biden's Department of Homeland Security to hand over Prince Harry's immigration papers for him to review and decide whether to make them public. It is reported that if the Duke did not tell the truth on his entry forms, then he could be removed from the U.S. or barred by a border agent. First of all, I think the whole thing is a mess for Harry, one way or another. His legal people have argued that it is a right to privacy, whereas others have said it is freedom of information with possible intent to defraud the U.S. immigration laws. Either way, Harry will have to fill out a form, DS-160 renewal, soon, and be asked the same questions, which will be public access. In addition, I really hope the judge says that Harry's papers can be released because that would give us a clearer indication of his true identity. I also hope that he will never be deported back here with or without him. On the other hand, the bad thing for Harry is that he will be deported back to his country. Until then, I just wish that King Charles III would get something done about Harry titles, as that's the only thing Meghan clings to, and without that, I'm sure she'd not hang about. No way will Harry be a working royal again, after what he's done, and hopefully he won't have accommodation provided either if he turns up back here. If he is deported, then at best, he's looking at having to live a life like his Uncle Andrew away from the public domain. More specifically, the question is what Meghan's attitude is when Harry is in a difficult position. Harry is becoming a liability as of late, so he has to wonder if his other half is secretly hoping that he is deported so she will no longer have to deal with him. In her mind, she probably feels he is the reason nobody likes her and nothing is going her way, so if he was kicked back to the UK, then he's out of her hair. After his hilarious Legend of Aviation prize, Harry will soon be able to pick up a Pinocchio of Deception award. In another development, is the fear of being deported the reason for this flurry of stories about improving their popularity in the UK? Good luck with that. The British people see Harry for who he is. They are not going to be manipulated by a PR campaign into welcoming him back to the UK. No, how many articles appear saying he wants to be reconciled to his family because his dad is ill? At the Sandringham summit, Harry signed away all rights and entitlement he might have had, both for himself and his heirs, permanently, as he turned his back on the UK. Harry does not have the option of returning to his old life as a working royal representing the monarch. He is excluded permanently, just as King Edward VII was. Better look for another country, prepared to take him. There is no role, no job, no home, and no welcome mat for him in the UK. Besides that, I doubt that there are any papers submitted when he arrived due to the subversive way he entered the USA under cover of darkness in a private aircraft, scuttling under his wife's skirts. Any documents, I suspect, would have been submitted retroactively, and even then he would have had lawyers completing them for him. There they failed, as it was very well known publicly in the UK that Harry had used drugs in the past. All the USA has to do is call upon Harry's close protection operatives. It was rumored during his 12-minute meeting with Charles raised voices were heard with Harry, supposedly asking the king to fix this for me. I wonder if this is what Hapless hoped might be fixed. Given Harry only got 12 minutes, I doubt anything was fixed for him. And although I know little about U.S. immigration law, this particular judge wants to see the facts of the matter and is not swayed by the defending argument. Maybe he read Spare and has formed an opinion of Harry. Oh, dear, one thing though, we don't want him back here. However, I'm not so sure. I wonder if the judge is requesting more documentation to see if there's anything in Harry's file that will back up the court's decision, which I think the judge has already made but not yet expressed publicly. For example, he might be seeking information that explains why Harry was permitted to enter the country if he indeed said that he was a drug user. For example, there are ways for applicants to explain away their truthful statement about drug use, and there should be documentation of that in the file. My guess, though, is that Harry lied on his application and claimed he did not engage in illegal drug use. Then it is possible that the immigration folks gave him a pass and let him into the country anyway, even though it was widely known he was a drug user. If an exception was made, there should be a paper trail. Maybe that's what the judge is looking for. I guess that the judge already knows what he's going to do, and he's just looking for extra documentation to back his decision up. My money is on the judge, ordering disclosure, and that the disclosure will reveal that Harry lied. Another way, Robert Jobson, in his latest book, said that the king has had a policy for over a year now of not speaking to Harry in person or on the phone without a witness being present. I wondered if the shouting was about the Queen being present, as I can imagine Harry being very cross about not being able to speak to his dad alone. Whatever the reason for Harry's visit, we know that he was not invited and that it was short, as the king had to leave in the helicopter. Because flying conditions were deteriorating, Harry must be fuming. None of his attempts have succeeded, trying to get His Royal Highness for his children, trying to get his security paid for, trying to get additional information about his father's diagnosis, and certainly not worming his way back in by emotionally blackmailing the king, overseeing his grandchildren. Nothing is working. The doors are shut and bolted. The Queen did warn him. In addition, Harry thought that his position would exempt him from the regulations. How gullible! Harry didn't even understand that in America they enforce government rules to the limit without exception. So words in Harry's book Spare have come back to haunt him. It does show Harry as being rather dim. Just imagine having all the privilege of being a prince and a duchess and messing it all up as they have. They aren't that bright, are they? Coming back to the problem, Harry is just call me Harry in the USA. His titles mean nothing, and he's a private citizen who entered the USA with what sort of visa? That's the burning question really, and what he admitted or not admitted to doing in his past. He is not a diplomat or a person of significant status. From his own mouth, he said he had used certain items to help him cope. So on those grounds, he should be facing deportation just like many other citizens or famous people have in the past. The problem for the UK is that the majority of us don't want him back ever. Apparently, the Department of Homeland Security lawyers will likely have established a precedent through their defense argument, suggesting that merely admitting to past drug use on paper isn't definitive proof of actual drug consumption. Consequently, individuals denied visas for ticking the box indicating past drug use may have grounds to challenge such rulings in court, especially in light of Harry's potential success in his case. As for Harry's wife, Meghan, let's not worry about the Markle woman returning to the UK. There is no way she will face William and Catherine, I think. She dares to face Charles, but not William and Catherine, and not Camilla. Now, we will come up with a scenario for both Harry and Meghan. He gets deported, and she stays in America. Then, She goes to court stating that he is not fit to be a responsible parent because of his drug use. She has full custody of the children, and she files for divorce. Takes most of the money. He gets on a very slippery slope downhill. Ends up on Skid Row. She blows all the money. Then she goes running to Prince William, begging for help to bring up the children. Prince William told him to go forth and multiply. Unhappy ending for the children. I only feel sorry for the two children who have done nothing to deserve this. We just analyzed the fact that Harry had to reveal his immigration documents after the judge's order. How does it feel that Harry will likely have to be deported from the U.S. and return to the UK? Please leave your thoughts below in the comments, and then give us a like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Goodbye.